What's up, Bulldogs? Today we're going to be talking about oral sex. Yes, that's what we're going to be talking about. That's the subject of this video for today. So make sure you stay tuned because we're going to be talking about whether it's dominant or not. All right, let's just jump into the email here. So he says, hey, John, context. I'm a married guy and my wife has expressed interest in me giving her oral sex. He says, when I get oral sex, it's always in a dominant way. But I also think I can do it in a dominant way. I would say so. All right, this has me thinking a lot about the dynamics of sex and how most action can be both dominant and submissive depending on the context. What are your thoughts on maintaining dominance while performing oral sex on a woman? Thanks for your time, John. Matt. P.S. I appreciate the organization you've added to the membership. Thank you. If this email makes it into a video, buy the membership, you cheap fucks. Okay, I'm quoting there. That's not me, but it's relevant. And there is a membership down below, $7 for the first month. You can get in the Bulldog Mindset membership. You're gonna love it. Huge group of men, 900 guys, over 900 guys in there now. Price just went up. It's gonna go up again because I want to keep it exclusive as possible. We have new videos every week, learning how to build your mindset, your finances, all that good stuff. Just go check it out. I'm not going to bore you with all the details here, but it's an awesome value. Trust me on this. All right. So let's talk about this a little bit. Let's kind of break this down and talk about what Matt is saying here. Again, not making fun of Matt. Matt's an awesome guy, actually, by the way, in the membership. So I just try to have a little bit of fun with the videos. But seriously, though, I think it's interesting that a lot of you guys are confused over, especially when you tell me, is like going down on a woman, giving a woman oral sex, is that beta or submissive? No. Remember, I say this all the time, all right, in Bulldog Mindset, is that it's not what you do, it's how you do it that matters, okay, and why. How and why are more important than what, all right? So when you talk about something like this, and we'll get into the oral sex part, but first I want to back up and I want you to understand what it means to be dominant, and I want you to understand what it means to be submissive and how masculinity is tied in with dominance, or how dominance is tied in with masculinity, right? So to be dominant, what does that mean? Okay. It means that you are the one who is the shoulder to cry on, right? You are the one who is ultimately deciding what direction things are going and directing the action, directing what is happening, right? You're in charge. That's what dominant means. It means that you're in charge, at least in this context, right? In a sexual context, in a context with a woman, being dominant is being the one in charge, okay? The one who is being trusted to lead, and you're acting in a way that basically says, I know what is best for you, and you are going to do what I am saying. But now, don't misunderstand that, because again, there might be some women watching this that are like, no, that's not dominant. That's being controlling and an asshole. Granted, that is true if you don't have the second component of being dominant, which is submission. Okay. When you're in a relationship, right? The dominance and submission aspect of it, right? You cannot be dominant over a person unless they're submissive, right? It's sort of like polarization of two magnets, right? You've got a magnet. If you got two magnets, like two north poles, and you bring them together, the stronger magnet will induce the other to flip poles, and it will become a south pole, and they'll attract, okay? And so this is very tied to masculinity, right? When women are in the presence of a masculine, strong, dominant man, they will become more feminine. They may be in their dominant alpha male masculine state, right? A lot of women, especially today in Western society, especially, women are in a dominant, they're not submissive, they're in a dominant masculine state. You could call these alpha women, all right? It's not good. It's not good. It's necessary because the workplace and the world today is a man's world. Okay. Now that's sort of how it's supposed to be, right? In the sense that, the things that make you successful in business and in life, like from an ambition standpoint, is ambition. It is a masculine, environment, right? The workforce, like competition, will always be masculine. So women, in order to fit into that workforce, they have to be masculinized, right? They have to have a masculine element. They cannot just be feminine in a workplace because they're going to get stomped on. All right. So where I'm going with this is that a lot of women are very masculinized today, all right? Or at least they present a masculine front, but inside they're feminine, okay? They want to be submissive, but they're only able to be submissive to a man that they trust, right? Part of the whole thing with sex and with dominance, it is safety, right? When you think about a relationship between a man and a woman, right? A masculine and a feminine relationship, whether it be a long-term or short-term or whatever it is, even for an evening, okay? There's essentially a yielding, right? What the feminine wants to do is she wants to yield. She wants to give herself, open herself completely, give herself, be free, right? To basically, let herself be dominated, to be almost the property of a man. When I say this, a lot of women don't understand this. Even a lot of guys don't understand this. And it's not property in the sense of like, I own you and I could sell you. It's not like slavery. It's more of like, he possesses me. Women want to feel this sense of being possessed by a man, that they're his, that he's responsible for them, that they're putting their life in his hands. That's the kind of ownership that I'm talking about. All right. Now, a lot of women still are going to fight this, and that's fine. But deep within, the feminine wants this, okay? But she's very resistant to this because she wants a man that she can trust in order to do this. And the more masculine you are, the more that you show that you are trustworthy, that you are a rock, that you will not bend to the world or society or her will, but you will make choices from your own masculine heart, from your own judgment, okay? The more that she will yield and submit. And the reason why I went off on this whole tangent is because in order to be dominant in this respect, it requires submission. So really the person submitting, the woman in this case, is in control, right? Because you cannot be dominant unless she submits to you, right? You show her your masculinity. You are masculine man, which causes her to become more feminine, right? And you act in that way that nurtures her feminine so she can be more free, more relaxed. She can feel more comfortable in your presence and more trust and safety. And because of that, she yields and submits. And because of that, you are able to now take control and be dominant, right? Because of that trust, because it's sort of like the trust game, right? You do a trust fall, like you fall backwards and someone's supposed to catch you. If you really, really trust that person, you can just let yourself fall, right? And it feels good to be free, right? That's kind of the thing that women are wanting to have. All right. So that's the whole dominance and submission, right? The whole idea behind this. And there's a lot more to this. I'll do some videos. I need to make some notes here to do some videos in the membership. I'm going to put, but yeah, this is going to be a good video in the membership. By the way, if you haven't joined the membership, again, link down below, $7 for the first month. If you're just watching this video for the first time, watching me, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On the show, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want. Click the subscribe button and join us here. So let's now get into this. Hopefully that's just a brief overview of what it means to be dominant, the dominance and submission part of it. Now, how you act in the way that you do things in a dominant fashion, right? Let's take that and let's specifically apply it to oral sex. What does that mean? Okay. It means that you don't have to be told what to do and you don't need to ask for direction. You just do it. You assume control over the woman's pleasure. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not paying attention and taking feedback, but you're not asking questions, you're not asking permission, right? So the way to be submissive, let's say in giving oral sex to a woman, would be to be like, hey, is it okay if I go down on you? Do you like that? Does that feel good? How about this? Do you like that? Or even worse is to be like, tell me what you like. Tell me how you want me to move my tongue. Okay. Tell me what you want me to do. That's submissive. Okay. It can get even worse if she's giving you orders and she's telling you what to do, right? Then you're really in a submissive role. And again, in the sexual place, the dominance and submission role play, let's say, because it becomes more exaggerated, right? And it can become more exaggerated, right? To a degree, depending on what you like and your partner likes, right? It can become very, very exaggerated, and some people enjoy that. I think that when it becomes super exaggerated, that there is a aberration there, that it's a psychological issue, right? Because you're sort of missing the point, like going to a very high extreme. Again, a little bit of fun, a little bit of, skirting the boundaries, totally fine. And a lot of women are going to like that for sure. But there is a point where you have to say, you might be fucked up. And that's why you crave this particular thing. Again, different subject. We're not going to go into that, but let's just talk about just basic dominance and submission in the bedroom in this case, right? So the submissive way is, like I said, is to ask permission, to be seeking feedback, to take orders, right? To basically trying to be a pleaser, okay? Instead of assuming control. And, think of it this way, right? It's like the dominant way to be sexual in general, not just like giving oral sex. See, it's kind of ridiculous, like to even say, well, was this thing, and the author of this email, I mean, he knows this, right? He said, this has me thinking a lot about the dynamics of sex and how most action can be both dominant and submissive depending on context. And that's exactly what I'm saying. And that's exactly right. So Matt's already kind of got this figured out. I'm just reiterating this for some of you and to give Matt some clarity on this, which is that it's not what you do, it's how you're doing it, right? It's what frame you're coming from. And so if you wanted to be dominant, let's say going down on a woman, right? And giving her oral sex. What you would do is you would assume that you know what you're doing, okay? And she can trust you, and you're assuming sort of responsibility for her pleasure. Like you're going to tease her, right? She's going to say, no, she's going to want you to do something, but you're not going to do it because you're delaying that, because you're teasing her. Right? You're telling her how you want her to lay. Spread your legs, right? You're maybe even pushing her down on the bed gently, right? Maybe not so gently, like depending on where you're at, right? You're basically telling her what to do, right? And then you're doing it without direction, right? You're going down there, you're doing your thing. Again, I'm going to put together a course on how to do it, because I'm getting a lot of feedback that it's not being done right. A lot of women are messaging me and whatnot. And so I'm going to put a course, Bulldog Mindset membership, go check it out, or at least I'll put some lessons there. I might make a full on course, but that's more important necessarily than even the proper technique, right? It's because for women, the sexual element is mental, and this whole dominant submission, it's way more important for women than men, right? Because again, it comes back to that feeling of letting go, right? Many women have trouble orgasming. There's a lot of women that have never orgasmed in their life, or they can't orgasm with a partner, or they can only orgasm a certain way, right? And a lot of the reason for that comes down to not being able to let go and trust fully, okay? And to feel safe. So by assuming a position of dominance, by assuming control, by taking responsibility, by taking it off of her so she doesn't have any of the pressure or stress on her, and you taking it over and knowing what to do and doing what you want to do, right? I had an interview with Sterling Cooper, really good guy, by the way, really smart guy. He's a porn star. Okay. I've got a link up here. And he was talking about being a selfish pervert. That's what women like in bed. It's true. They want a selfish pervert. What does that mean? It means that she wants you to be going after what you want, right? And that will give her pleasure, right? A lot of women have fantasies. You can read the book, My Secret Garden. In that book, women give their fantasies, right? They're anonymously, right? And there's a ton of them in there, and they fall into different categories. And one of the fantasies that women have, or a theme, is this theme of like being a prostitute or even being forced. And the reason why is because they have this sort of desire to be so desirable for a man that they bring him so much pleasure that he can't control himself. And so what you want to express, you want to give them that ability to do that, but they have to be free in order to do that, if that makes sense. So that's why also that whole dominance and submission thing, they respond to that. Women respond to that more so. It's very much mental for women. So coming back to this question here, because I know we're going a little bit long on the time. All right. Yes. Give your wife oral sex. Okay. Guys, for the guys that have been asking me this question of, should you go down on a girl? Yes, of course. You should do it with enthusiasm. You should love it. Okay. It should be fun for you. Women will get off by on how much you enjoy it. Okay. Think about this, flipping it. All right. You want a girl to give you head that's not enjoying it. That's like, I'm just doing this because you asked me to. Or do you want her to be like, I love doing this, right? Which one is going to get you more turned on, right? Think about it, right? It's the same thing. So do it, and do it in a dominant way, but don't worry about the silliness of, am I being submissive or dominant? Like, is this a submissive or dominant act? It's like saying, is this alpha or beta act? Stop. Okay. Do what you want to do. All right. And have a dominant frame. It's about how you're approaching it. Okay. If you're masculine, if you're not a very masculinized man, again, Bulldog Mindset membership, I've got a lot of content on that to help, or just watch a lot of the videos on this channel, how to become more masculine. Right. I should do another lesson in there in the membership on that. But then you'll be coming from a dominant frame, but you do need her to be submissive, and she's only going to be submissive if she trusts you. Right. So to some degree, that means demonstrating competence. It means you need to learn about how to give oral sex. Okay. It means you need to take charge and try some things out, and you need to make the decisions and allow her to just relax and enjoy it. Okay. Men and women are built differently. Men can take on that stress and that load and feel good about it. Women need to release that. A lot of women are like, if you're in a relationship with a woman, she's not very sexual. Okay. Real quick here, a little bonus material since you stayed to the end, which is that if you have a relationship with a woman and she's not very sexual, a lot of the reason why is because she's very much in her masculine frame. Okay. Why? Because she's got bills to pay. Okay. She's got the stresses of work, which stresses a woman out way more than men. She's got all of these things, these masculine type of things that she has to deal with, the logistics of life. Okay. That's why women like a man that fixes things around the house. Okay. That's why women like a man that takes charge and takes care of things. Okay. The provider type of thing. It's not just about, it's not just about a money thing. Okay. But if you can be that guy, right, and you take that load off her shoulders so she doesn't have to stress out, be like, yeah, don't worry about the bills. I got this. I got that. I'll take care of that. You take as much of that off her shoulders so she can feel like she can just relax. She can let go. She doesn't have to be in that masculine frame. She doesn't have to worry that shit's not going to happen that needs to be happening, because you're taking care of that without asking, right? Then you're going to free her up to be more feminine, and she's going to be more feminine around you. Again, not taking shit, not walking on eggshells, not letting her walk all over you, right? Saying, hey, basically having this frame, babe, I know what's good for you and I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry. I got you, right? That's the frame. It's like, no. I'm not going to hear any, I'm not going to take no for an answer. Don't fight me because I got you. You can't fight me, right? That kind of thing. Again, you're not saying these things. You're conveying this in other words and things you're doing and actions you're taking. Okay. You're just assuming responsibility, assuming charge, assuming the control of the relationship and the bedroom activities and all of those things. Okay. You're taking that. Now she's going to fight you to see what you're made of. Okay. But you're not going to fight back. You're just going to do what you do as a man. And then she will become more feminine and she will give you more of that control and she will submit to you. Okay, because she wants to submit to you. But women only want to submit to a strong man, and they need to test that man to make sure that man is worthy of submitting to. Okay, that's the reality of the situation. And that's also why, again, real quick here, why, there is a difference for you guys that are interested in the pickup side of things. Okay, there's a big difference in sort of short-term hookup type of relationships with women and longer term things. And you are going to get a different depth and characteristic of a woman in a longer term thing where she totally submits and gives herself to you and trusts you, you're going to get more, you're going to get access to her in a deeper way than you would in a short term type of thing for the most part, right? Because she's not going to fully give herself to you. And so, it's not going to be quite the experience. Just saying. Again, not trying to push you in a direction. And I'm not trying to say, though, my advice has always been wait till you're in your 30s at least before you get into LTR as a man. All right. I still hold to that advice, but I am saying that there are some differences and you need to understand it's not quite the same thing. And how you act as a man, they're similar, but it's not quite the same thing. Because a lot of things can get you laid, but they're not going to get you in a relationship with a woman continually being the dominant guy that she submits to. That's a whole different ballpark. Again, I talk about more of that in the Bulldog Mindset membership. David Data has an excellent book called The Way of the Superior Man.